Well, hey, y'all, just want to give y'all an update on everything and just say, man, prayers work, y'all. I'm telling you, prayers work. And just giving you some good news. We've been, most of y'all know, following that last live I did, that, our biggest thing with this move back down to Alabama was getting our youngest daughter, Tilly's birth certificate from the state. And that's something, it's been on us hard for like the last few months. It's been in the works for 8-10 months. She's only 15 months old, but we just always assumed that it's that much time it'd be done, the state, whatever, good grief, almost a year, that they got plenty of time to do it. Well, they got down to the last, for those that don't know, it got down to the last, probably 6 months or so, and we're really like, okay, now, come on, it could get here, it'd be nice. But we just been praying on it, and the more it got, it's been more and more praying and everything, so we could all drive out. So for those that also don't know, in Canada, you have to have, for children, I think it's 16 and under, they have to have a birth certificate, at least that, to get across. And we haven't, my youngest daughter was never registered, or they lost the paperwork, they don't even know, at the hospital, and there's nowhere in Fairbanks, Alaska, that we can get that taken care of, or Anchorage. You got to deal with Juneau, the capital, which from us is like that. I don't know how many thousands of miles away. So anyway, so it's been heavy on our minds, and just praying and giving it to God, because we don't know what to do. My wife's been made phone calls and emails as best she can, but eventually it's just no more, Well, they called probably about a week ago. They called and said, they called my wife and said that, hey, we received this additional paperwork stuff or what have you, but you're like behind 1,000 or more people and to get this done, and it's gonna be November before you get your birth certificate for her. And see, they had told us this, like I was saying, at least 10 months ago. But back then it was like, well, it's 10 months ago, we're like, well, they got months and months before we're going to be able to leave. The house wasn't sold back then, so it was like, yeah, okay, I still don't believe that it's going to take that long. My goodness, but I was wrong. So anyway, that just took the wind out of our sails. It's just, even though we've been praying and believing and know God can do anything, it was just still like, it still hits you hard to be like reassuring that what man says is going to be November. And so we're trying to be, since the live, I told y'all this is after the live that I had, whatever it was, a week ago or whenever it was. And so anyway, I'm just trying to be positive, like with me and my wife both, and everything I was trying to be uplifting to her was just as much as was it for her as for me. And we were getting, it was weighing heavy on us though, and we got to a point where we were, it was really, really heavy on us, and I was just trying to be uplifting to her, and I told her I was, as much as again to her as is it to me, and reminding me of what we know God's been doing here for us, and as much as we're trying, keyword trying, to follow His lead and letting Him lead, and pick the path for us instead of me or her making the decision. We're just giving it to God, and all of this has been in His plan. And because we've got, I don't know how many people, and it's nothing against the people, but we hear it almost any person we meet is, when you're gonna leave, and it's nothing against them. People want to know, but it does get taxing after a while, because you don't know, and it's like, man, we're just giving it to God. I don't know. Winter's coming. Y'all can look. I don't know if you can see well, but leaves are falling out of the trees. They're already golden yellow, but they're falling, and winter is here. It's been, winter's near about here. It's been in the 30s in the morning for the last few weeks, just about almost every day. If it's not, it's right at 40. It's really close, and we're sleeping in a camper, so I can tell you how cool it gets, because my goodness, we don't have the heater running the whole time, and it gets frosty. But anyway, it's just a lot of pressure and stuff, and we're just, doubt slips in and wants to tell you, lies and say, maybe we should take it into our own hands. and figure out a way. And we've had countless people say, my wife could take Tilly and fly to Seattle, and my pastor, who is absolutely amazing, is more than willing to drive one of our trucks, and then me and him with all the kids could go through Canada and then just pick up my wife in Seattle, and then fly him back, and then we could continue. But I just, up till this point, I told myself, and I was telling my wife, it's like, I can't believe that God would split us up for our last chapter here in Alaska, being that we're trying to follow his lead and not our own. It's just going to be in his timing when it happens, though. But it's a lot easier said than done. It's rough. But I just can't believe that. I was like, man, our last leg here, and God's going to split us up, and I can't believe it. Well, that just made all that more harder when my kids are out here. It just made it all more harder when you hear that, it'll be November from the state and everything. And so we're just, again, trying to give it to God and pray about it. But man, the doubt is so hard to hey, you're on YouTube. So that day was a rough day. I guess me fast forward again. And I was trying to be encouraging to her, and I was like, babe, we know, going off the Bible, biblically speaking, we know what man says. We also know what God says. And what can God do? Is he limited by what man does or says? What doors close that man closes, can God not open? And so, I was trying to be encouraging to myself as much as I am to her. And in all reality, I told her, I was like, babe, God can make it happen tomorrow. If he wanted it to happen tomorrow, we know they said November, but if he wanted it to happen tomorrow, he can make it happen tomorrow. And I'm just trying to, speak in faith, because I know he can make it happen. It's just according to his timing, and we got to wait when it's his time. And it's rough, but it's part of a lot of, like in the Bible, where I'm at in James, in the book of James, very first chapter, I think it's the first or second verse. We're talking about James, the brother of Jesus, was talking about having endurance in the faith. And how do you do it is you go through trials. That's how you build your faith. And it's not just going to be all the time you pray and it's answered immediately. And but anyway, so I was just trying to be encouraging to her and myself and saying, he could do it tomorrow. Well, lo and behold, y'all, tomorrow came. She got a phone call again from Juneau, pulled over side of the road because it shocked her. And this lady told her and said, hey, you know what? We can make an exception for y'all because you're trying to move, and we're going to get it done today. And we'll have it shipped out next week. So, I mean, that just broke me. She called and blew my phone up and called me. I was broken, just weeping, and took my hat off thanking God because, like I said, this has been months and months and months of, worry. Try not to let it worry. Worry's not good. You can't, the Bible says, what can a man gain by worrying? How many seconds in a day can you gain by worrying? It's done. But it's still, we're human, and it weighs on you. And so it's just this huge load off our shoulders, and knowing God is there for us. And if he's for us, now who can be against us? So anyway, it's just an absolute blessing. So that should be here really soon, this week. I had a little hiccup with my passport. My wife got her passport in. Apparently it got all the way to the passport place, and they don't like the picture on mine. It doesn't fit in this little size thing. So we had to send that off, and I'm not worried about it, but that ought to be probably in maybe next week. I would assume it'd be here next week. But anyway, y'all, so when mine comes in, her birth certificate should be here today or tomorrow, and then when we get my passport, we're heading out. So yeah, I just wanted to give y'all some positivity. Keep praying. Prayers work. And if you follow in God's timing, even though it ain't our own, and a lot of times it ain't when we want it to happen, but if you can try to let God have it in his timing, more and more it happens for us, I can say anyway, and even we don't deserve any of it. But the more we can let him do it, it's going to work out. It'll always work out. I've done it Josh's way far too many times, and it may not burn right out of the gate, but I guarantee you it's going to burn, crash and burn if I do it. And it's just taken a lot of things in my life, hitting rock bottom twice, wanting to kill myself once, way back in Alabama and stuff, and all these things happening, but God was trying to shape me and get a hold of me. I'm sure glad he did. So anyway, I just want to give y'all some encouragement. Keep praying. Thank y'all for your prayers so much. There's so much needed those prayers. Y'all are such a blessing to our life. And looking forward to meeting those who I can meet. And it'd be a lot easier to meet all of y'all when we're in the 48. So no matter how far you are, it's a lot closer than here. So we'll keep y'all posted. And everything, look, you can see you got the boat cover started to get covered. I got a little bit more I got to put in the boat and get that batten down. And everything, y'all. So we're getting there. So anyway, just want to let y'all know that it's coming. We love you. Thank you again so much for your prayers, and God bless each and every one of you.